if you're not doing what you want to do and you don't feel like you are pursuing your purpose in life, it starts to really nudge at you.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to a point where I was tired of sitting behind a desk. I felt like I had so much more to offer the world. And I didn't know what capacity. I just knew I wanted to be an artist. I knew I wanted to sing. I knew I wanted to act. And I didn't know how I was going to get to that point. But I looked at Atlanta and I was like, Black people are making it happen down there. If I can thrive anywhere, I can do it in Atlanta. And that was literally my focal point. I didn't know how I was going to do it, but I was like, if I get there, I'll figure it out.
What are you waiting for?
What's going on, y'all? It's Vanessa Darby, Randy C. Bonds, and Javi, and we are the Entourage. And for those of you who are watching on YouTube, you know you don't see my friends to the left, to the right of me, so I should have a picture. I should have some pictures pop up around here so that we can see Randy and Javi. But they are definitely in the Entourage, are the Entourage. We are the Entourage. And if you're not watching on YouTube and you're just listening on Apple Podcasts or Google Podcasts or Spotify, go ahead and subscribe. We got a YouTube channel, y'all. Like, we coming up. So we got a YouTube channel. Make sure you head over to YouTube and type in the Entourage podcast. You'll see a couple interviews already start populating. We got one with Issa Adney that just dropped. We have another one with Anne Marie that just dropped. So make sure you head over there and you subscribe to the Entourage podcast. It's really interactive to watch the interviews and also see the artists and creators that we get to talk to. So make sure you head over there and hit the subscribe button. That will just make our day. For today's interview, we have someone who's actually a great friend of Randy's. They used to work together, and her name is Renee Hayslett. Now, that name should sound familiar because she is one of the breakout stars of Tyler Perry's hit series Sistas on BET. I'm going to go ahead and read her bio. I will be looking down because the bio is right here. I'm going to go ahead and read her bio, but I want to make sure that y'all really grasp her story. She talks about a lot of different things, from faith to staying ready so you don't have to get ready, to just maximizing your opportunities when they are given to you. Renee Hayslett is a personification of a multi-hyphenate talent. From her start on Capitol Hill to becoming a stylist at Tyler Perry Studios and ultimately landing her current role as an actress on the BET hit show Sistas, Hayslett carves her own path wherever she goes. Starring as Fatima, a headstrong, keeps it real, confident paralegal, Hayslett brings her real-life energy to her on-screen character. Though she's the breakout star of the series, she is no stranger to the industry. Having gotten her start behind the scenes, shout out to the Entourage, as a stylist and costume designer, Hayslett spent years watching and learning from Tyler Perry himself and other actresses at Tyler Perry Studios. We hope that you enjoy this episode. She also goes into when she made this move to Atlanta and how she became a producer and all of the things. So I ain't gonna hold you. Let's go ahead and get into it. Renee Hayslett and Randy C. Bonds right now on the Entourage podcast.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Entourage podcast. I am your co-host, Randy Bonds, and I am here with a very special friend that I'm super excited to have on the podcast. We've been talking about this for a long time, and we have her here today, Renee Hayslett from Tyler Perry's Sistas. You have seen her as your fave Fatima for the past, 4 or 5 seasons now?
Yeah.
And yeah, got her own show coming out, her own spinoff coming out. And so we got a lot to talk about here today. So first off, thank you, Crystal, for joining us, for kicking it with the Entourage today. We appreciate having you and excited to jump into your story.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, Randy.
Of course. So first off, let's just take it way back. Yes, way back in time. Because before you were actress or any of those things, you, like our co-host Vanessa, you're from Tennessee. She lives in Tennessee now, in Nashville, and you found your way to the White House or to Capitol Hill. Explain that.
Yeah, I interned on Capitol Hill my junior year in college and absolutely fell in love with the city. And the last semester of my senior year, I got called back by the office saying they had a job opening. So I guess I did a good job during my internship.
Mother did something right.
Yeah, just a little bit. And they said, hey, we have an opening. We'd love for you to come back and join us full time. So my school worked it out where I could finish my last semester online.
Nice.
And packed everything up, moved to Washington, and never looked back.
But we're grateful that you're no longer there, that you have, ascended to higher places. So let's talk about that. You have transitioned. In fact, well, where did the transition even take place? Like, what brought you out of the White House, into your next thing?
Well, out of Capitol Hill, I was working. For
yes, I'm sorry, Capitol Hill.
Yeah. It was fun. Honestly, just, there's a time in your life where if you're not doing what you want to do and you don't feel like you are pursuing your purpose in life, it starts to really nudge at you. And I got to a point where I was tired of sitting behind a desk. I felt like I had so much more to offer the world. And I didn't know what capacity. I just knew I wanted to be an artist. I knew I wanted to sing. I knew I wanted to act. And I didn't know how I was going to get to that point. But I looked at Atlanta and I was like, Black people are making it happen down there. If I can thrive anywhere, I can do it in Atlanta. And that was literally my focal point. I didn't know how I was going to do it, but I was like, if I get there, I'll figure it out, Yeah. And I called my mother. I said, hey, I'm moving to Atlanta. I talked to Uncle Tyrone. He said I can stay in their spare bedroom until I get on my feet. Didn't have a job, nothing. Like literally just moved on faith.
Leap of faith.
Leap of faith. And once I got here, it took forever to even find a job. It took over a year to find a job. It was probably one of the lowest. And we talked about it personally.
Yeah.
But it was definitely one of the lowest moments in my life. Knowing deep down inside, I'm going after something that I've always wanted to go after, but not having any type of guidance, you know? So, that's how that came about. I was just tired. I was like, you know what, this isn't me. It's so much that goes into the world of politics, and that just didn't even sit well with my spirit. Yeah.
So let me ask you this. You moved to Atlanta, pursuing your dreams, taking a leap of faith. How did you push yourself to remain and to stay committed to your pursuit, even when things weren't going as planned, even when it wasn't happening as fast as you thought it should have?
Yeah, you know what? The thing that kept me going was that every step along the way, I noticed that God would place someone in my life on my path that could help get me like 10 steps further, Like he kept bringing people in my life. And I'm like, okay, God, you're not just letting me be introduced, be in the same room as these people where somebody's like, hey, she does this, y'all need to meet. And they're like, oh, okay, well, let's work. I knew that was nothing but the hand of God over my journey. And even though it wasn't happening as fast as I wanted it to happen, I realized in that moment, I'm on the right path.
How significant has your community been to your development?
Oh my goodness. My community has been very instrumental in my development. From my friends, I feel like all my friends are artists in some form, and we all kind of feed off each other. And then people that that have just either come into my life and have supported me, believed in me at any aspect of my life, and some people, they may only be for a season or a certain period of time, but they were very instrumental in exactly what I needed in that moment. And I still have an abundance of love for them, even though we may not be as close as we were at that time, but that doesn't take anything away from the fact that I know that they played a big part into where I am today.
Yeah. So, how do you, how do you even navigate the changing of seasons and like the changing of guards that come with the changing of seasons when it comes to people?
I have, and I don't know, it's because I just kind of learned to go with the flow of life, but I never take it personal. A lot of people take it personal when, saying your life may change or seasons may change and the direction and trajectory changes, and they say that everybody can't go and everybody can't. And then sometimes it's not even that they can't go, it's just that they didn't keep up, there's a difference. So I think that you have to allow people to be who they are, grow, give them grace to be whatever they're trying to be. And sometimes it's not even about like leaving people behind or that was their season and it's over. Sometimes you yourself are still trying to adjust to the change of your season. Where you don't even have time to think about what's going on. You still trying to adjust me like, wait a minute, my life is changing. What's going on here? And it's not always about other people. Sometimes it's about your own internal struggle and adjustment. So
how have you learned to peacefully let people know we're in different spaces now and it's okay, or our time is coming to an end, or do you even address it? How do you navigate that, and communicate that?
Right. It depends on the relationship. If this is somebody that's really close to me, let's address it. Let's talk about it. I'm very big on transparency when it comes to people I love. And then some people, it just kind of happens organically where things just kind of shift and you take different paths. But I'm definitely about the peace. I don't like confrontation. But yeah.
I love that. So now I want to transition to the reason I wanted you on this episode. You're someone that I can speak from personal experience and just say that when it comes to your community, I know you've talked about how much your community has looked out for you, but you too have also looked out for your community in so many ways. One of the things I love about you and I brag about to everybody is that you are a person who believes in like paying people what they're worth. Regardless of the value. You like, if I'm gonna use your services, even your best friend. I know your best friend. I'll let you tell the story yourself because I'm ready to tell it. But like, I know you work with your best friend even on your photography. You take this serious, like you plan shoots and you like, okay, this was gonna cost, this is gonna do it, and you take that seriously. Why is it important for you to give your friends what they're worth versus just like getting a friend hookup that they would probably willing to give you because y'all are friends? But why is it so important for you to make sure like you give them what their rate is?
I feel like it's important to support your friends, and support their dreams. And if you are, it's different when you're not, when you both trying to grind and figure it out. Then it's like, hey, I'll do this for you. I'll post it if you just take these pictures. But when you start making money, I feel like you're not obligated, but you need to support your people, and it's funny because Kayla Madonna, like like anytime it's time for a shoot, like I say, well, Kayla's got to do the photography. Like I won't let anybody else shoot me unless it's a situation where they're like, well, we have to use this photographer. She's my go-to, and I want her. I make a big deal about her being published. I want her name in the article. I need to get her credit, and I pay her for that. Because I feel like she's amazing at what she does. She has she went to school for it. She's educated in her field. It's not just a hobby for her. This is her livelihood. And if she's taking 3 and 4 hours out of her day to do something for me and it's great quality work, why would I not pay her? Now, if she was just practicing on me, then that's different. I'll just post you. But no, like she's damn good at what she does.
But why not like, okay, well, let me just take you out to dinner to say thank you or something like that.
I do that all the time. No.
Yeah.
Dinner ain't gonna pay no bills. Okay.
You tell the Saints, I don't think they heard you in the back. What you say?
Listen, dinner ain't paying no bills.
Oh, no rent.
No, pay your people.
Yeah. I believe in that wholeheartedly, and I think that's so important. And I can't speak for any other culture because I'm not that, but I know amongst our people, and I try to give grace to the fact that we haven't always been taught, we haven't always had the disposable income, we didn't always have it to go over and beyond and to do that. So we've always had to kind of make it by for so long. But it's like, okay, we some of us are able to come out of that making it by, mentality now and like can really do. When does that transition take place where you say, okay, you know what, we've been looking out for each other, we can scratch each other back, but okay, now I can afford to give you something. Now I can afford to give you a little more. Now I can afford to give you a full rate. Now I give you a full rate and a tip. When does that transition take place where you go from the hookup to like, okay, now this is a service that I'm paying for?
Yeah. I think honestly, when you can afford it, if I would go pay another photographer their rate, you know, and mind you, like Kayla's my best friend. She doesn't charge me like the full rate because her prices done went up. But it's I pay her a great amount. And then I also push her work out and it brings her more business. So not only am I just paying her, I'm also bringing more business her way. So it's, we still looking out for each other, you know? And anything like, cause where I am now in my life, even a post can go further than sometimes just me paying her and not even posting the work, you know, me saying that they're like, oh, can you take my pictures? Then like inquiries start coming in. And then you charge them your rate.
Yes. But let's be clear, we ain't gotta go into specifics, but like I also know, like, you know, while you're saying you don't pay her the full, I know you still pay more than what photographers in a lot of places, you know, are making. So it's still like, you know, for those who are listening who don't know, trust and believe, this ain't like she still is paying great money, you know,
and getting great money for every hour spent. Yeah. And then I'm still gonna take her out to eat.
I love that. You know, a lot of times people are willing to feed you off of their plate, and it's just like you have more and I don't have more. We had our own plates, you know.
Yeah, we all getting our own plates around here.
Yeah, I love that.
And it was hard for her to even like charge me. I was like, how much? I was like, I'm paying. Like, no. I was like, no. How much? And I was like, you know what? Don't worry about it. What's your rate? And then we're like, okay. And it was at that time, that's what the rate was, and I paid it. And then when it went up, I said, all right, girl.
No, understand. And let's even deal with that. What do you think that comes from? That whole like, oh, I don't want to, because I feel like, and I'll just give my opinion. I feel like sometimes it's like, oh, you're my homie, and I'm gonna look out for you. But then a lot of times it's awkward. Because talking money has become awkward. We've made it awkward.
We've made it awkward. It doesn't have to be like, I just feel like when you believe in your people, like it's not awkward. Like, how much is it? I don't play about my friends and their business. And I think that if it is awkward, then you need to reevaluate the friendship. You know, because if your people don't support you and, you know what I'm saying, believe in what you're doing and that it's worth it, then they can go find somebody else to do it and pay them. Hopefully they get the same quality work. But I know my friends are bomb. Like, we do some amazing work. So,
and how much more rewarding is it to actually do the work with your friends, to be willing to celebrate, knowing you're going to have a good experience and it's going to be what you want because they know you're going to get you.
Yeah, I think it's amazing because especially with me and Kayla's relationship, and most of the photography she does ends up getting published. And I could have just came and said, hey, I got this shoot for this magazine, you'll get the notoriety for it. But no, you have to go beyond that, pay your friends their worth, and say, I'm also going to help you by getting this published. And I'm going to make sure I post it so people know that you're responsible for this. So.
All right. I want to talk about posting really quick because that's a whole other thing. And then we're going to transition from there. A perfect segue to the next thing. But posting and doing, you know, posting, tagging people, that goes so far nowadays. Like, social media has become a business. You're another person I brag about this, because to know you is to know you're not a person who like, it's like, look at me, I want to be in front of the camera. But you've learned that social media is a part of like the entertainment climate today. So you've adapted. So understanding that, you know how important it is to post and to share and to tag and all those things like that.
You know, I look at it as passive income. It's just easy money where I can say, they can say, hey, this company wants to do this. Okay, great. Let me try it, see if I like it. Yes, because I don't post anything I don't stand behind. Like, I'm really big on that. But I feel like, you know, too, Randy, social media isn't for everybody because it's work. It's not like a easy thing. You know, sometimes you don't feel like putting on a full beat just to get ready to say, hey, try this, you know. You know, but that's a part of it, you know, but at the same time, it helps build your brand. It helps people get to know you better. Even just posting like how I post more of my day-to-day so people can see, hey, oh, okay, this is what she does. Something as small as me working out. And it's that right there is something that motivates. It's not even to try to like get brands to take notice, but it's more so to inspire people to be better. And the comments that I get, oh my gosh, I'm about to get up. Let me get out the bed. I'm going to the gym right now. You know, helping make people's lives better is what really, really gets me going. So,
and you really do that because I see how you engaging with your fans and your fan page and stuff. And again, I think that's contributed so much, to your thriving and your continued success. You've done a competition, you've done giveaways to your fans. Like, how much closer has that even made you all?
Oh yeah, much closer. Like, my fans are ride or die. Do you hear me? We recently had this scene where Fatima and the character Karen had a very serious conversation. And all Fatima's, they saw the week before that I was going to be in all black. So they all dressed in all black the next Wednesday ready. I said, y'all.
They love you.
No, they do. And that's because I let them know that I love them. And it's a way to do it so that you don't lose your, sometimes people can lose themselves in social media. It's a way to do it so that it doesn't consume you, but to also let the people know who support you that, hey, I hear you and I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's all people want to know, is that I hear you, I see you, and thank you.
That's the perfect little segue, because you too have been seen and heard before you even made your transition. I know we skipped through a big chunk of your career. And we'll go back into that. But you were working very closely with, I know we call him, or you call him TP, let me be clear. You call him TP. The rest of us know him as Tyler Perry / Medea / one of the great Black billionaires that we have.
Yes, / Billy.
Yes. Big Billy. And so he's someone who, before you got to take off as an actress, you were working with him as his stylist. And he gave you an amazing shout out at the BET Awards this year to just congratulate you on making the transition from a production assistant to a wardrobe stylist to a personal stylist for him, which again we'll still get into, and to now being an actress. What was it like for you to be seen by someone who is not just your boss, but also a friend who makes sure you're taken care of, professionally and personally?
And somebody, literally, like, and someone whom I look up to tremendously. It was a blessing. I remember when I first moved to DC, I found an apartment, didn't have any furniture. I was waiting on my parents to bring all my furniture up from my college apartment to fill into this new apartment in DC. And I was sleeping on an air mattress, and I had a TV and a DVD player. And what was I watching?
Medea.
Meet the Browns, Medea on DVD.
Yes.
So wow. I remember those moments and how just his voice, his writing, the characters that he's created got me through so many different times in my life. And to finally actually just get to work at the studio was a blessing, but to be noticed by him 2.5 years later from just being behind the scenes, at a desk or down in a room just dressing people and not on set, really meant a lot, for someone. And he saw me, he was like, "What you do?" And the rest was history. It went from literally production assistant to dressing the background to set costumer to costume designer, to being his stylist, and then designing all his shows and films for 5 years.
Wow.
And I think the first 2 years before I started designing, I was still auditioning. I was still actively pursuing my music and acting, and nothing was hitting. Like, I was not anything. And I even auditioned for 2 parts on 2 of Tyler's shows and didn't get that either. So when I got the call to be his stylist, I was like, "Oh, this man don't think I can act." I was like, okay, I was like, maybe he
took it personal.
Huh?
You took it personal.
I took it personal. And I was like, maybe this is his way of saying, "Hey, you can't act, but I got something else for you."
And lo and behold, he didn't even know. He
didn't even know. He had no idea. And whenever the role for Fatima did come about, he said, "I'm gonna give you something really small and see how you do." And he was like, "But it's up to you where it goes." And we see where it went.
I think it did pretty good,
It did all right.
For those who don't know, Crystal went from being a guest star the first season, right?
Yes.
To being a series regular, to being added to the artwork and becoming the fifth sister, which is never even in the works in the beginning. And now you got your own spinoff.
Wow.
And it all happened during the pandemic.
All happened during the pandemic. And that is a bigger testimony. And I just shared this with a really close friend of mine. I won't disclose about the name, but I just shared this with a close friend of mine who was kind of down about not being where they are and seeing everybody else doing all these things. It's like, but I was like, look, you are tremendously blessed where you are right now. And I was like, but if you think about my story, I know what God did for me, he can do for anybody. And I was in the background watching everybody live my dream. I was dressing everybody that was living my dream. And knowing like, I can do that. I can do that. And when the time came, not only did he make me a producer of the show, he was like, you're going to start off small, but watch how I shift things.
Yeah.
And that is just a testament that where you start is not where you will end. You know, we went from all that to being a fan favorite and having their own show.
Yeah.
And I don't take credit for any of that.
That's a blessing.
Yeah, that's nothing but the hand of God.
And so even with that, like we were talking about the importance of tagging and, you know, stuff like that. That piece when Tyler shouted you out, first of all, what was that moment like when you got the notification?
First of all, you was with me. We were at the award show. Like he posted it like during the award show. I was like, what? I was like, T. I was literally like back on the verge of tears. I was like, I gotta keep it together.
Yeah. Because you still had to go present.
We still had to present. I hadn't presented yet. So that was a very surreal moment. And just another, I would say, confirmation that I'm doing what I want to do. I'm on the right path. And to have that, just that, I want to say comfort, you know what I'm saying? That he didn't solidify anything.
But affirmed.
He affirmed it, you know, that like, sweetheart, you are where you are. And one thing about Tyler, when I say all the time, I can be doubting something and he will be like, hey, don't do that. Okay, you're right. He's like, you are right.
Yeah.
You are right. And that's another thing about adjusting to this life. You know, there's so many times where you start like, you know what I'm saying, getting nervous, like, okay, like, how do I keep this?
Yeah.
You know, how do I keep ascending from this point? And it can drive you crazy sometimes, trying to make sure that you don't lose it all, because we've seen it happen so many times. So he's a constant reminder that everything is okay. Just keep doing what you're doing, keep working hard, stay humble. And don't forget where you came from. He always says that, don't forget how you started.
Yeah.
Remember the people that were there with you. And as long as you stay that way, you'll keep climbing.
I want to ask two things, but I'm gonna ask this one first. Considering how you got thrust into this, you know, like, you know, it was a matter of, okay, he found out I want to do this and he's giving me a chance, you know, he's trying to see what I can do. Like you said initially, I like, oh, he didn't think I could act. That's why he had me, you know, doing wardrobe. Did you ever deal with imposter syndrome throughout the process of you being launched into, you know, now being an actress, now being on the other side, now being a co-star or being on set with the people that you were once dressing or the people that you were once behind, you know?
You know, I don't feel like I did. I feel like once I got into that moment, I'm telling you, the moment Tyler Perry yelled "Action Fatima," that first step I took, it was like, this is where you belong, girl. Yeah. You better walk.
Yeah. I love that. And I think, you know, it's so significant because a lot of times we've dreamed and we prepared for it and we have an idea of how it's going to go. And sometimes we can become so obsessed with that moment that we don't get a chance to enjoy it and live in it when we're not ready. But
I've definitely enjoyed every moment.
Yeah, that means so much. And I know you vacation a lot, you know, which is beautiful. How important is that, you know, to keep you mentally healthy when you're, you know, in between work?
So important. You know, for me, vacationing is my time to unwind, reset, and really just kind of recharge my mind because
Mm-hmm.
work, being another person, because that's what it is, you tap into
Mm-hmm.
a whole nother person. It takes a lot out of me.
Mm-hmm.
So as soon as we wrap, I'm like, where am I going? I gotta go. I need to, and for me, it's always a beach. I need to be somewhere warm. I need to hear the ocean, and I need a tan. And that's how I really recharge and reset.
Now I want to jump backwards a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I know where I was just saying I had two questions for you about, Tyler, shouting you out and everything. Also, that caused your numbers to jump significantly, and you were finally verified on Instagram, which is something I know we all want at some point. So even that, like, though that may not have been his intention, he was just genuinely, shouting you out and showing you love. It still helped out to an extent, with your social media and stuff like that. So again, can we even go back into the significance of those type of things, like those type of gestures that are rooted in the heart, but then how they can have even greater effects and greater impacts now in the day when co-signing is a thing,
It's a big thing. Yeah, it is. And the numbers definitely jumped significantly that day. And for me, but personally, like I shout all my friends out, my friends who are doing dope things. I give them their flowers. I think that's very important, to make sure that you support your friends through tagging, through posting them and letting them know, hey, like, I see what you're doing. You killing it. Hey, y'all need to check this out,
Again, so you're someone who's naturally shouted out your friends and shown love to them through social media and still paid them. And and Tyler has been someone he's your boss, but he still acknowledged you as a friend for the BET Awards, and still, like, it's still work for you. You still have to show up for work. So how do you keep the lines from being blurred? Like, yes, this is my boss, but this is still someone who's my friend, who respects me and I respect them, but I also still know when it's time to work, I show up for work. Like, I know with you, when it come down, you get ready to go into production, you shut down and you get to practice in those lines and you're ready to show up for work, and do work.
Yeah, I do not play about that. And I don't. And it's crazy because we can be on vacation one week and we at work, it's like, I want to make sure he's happy with my performance. I want to make sure I'm giving everything I got, professional. I want to make sure I'm on time, not missing a line. Like, I take it very, very serious. And part of that is not only practicing excellence in my craft and my gift, but also honoring him for even giving me the opportunity. So I want to make sure I don't ever want to come to work and him feel like she getting a little complacent.
Yeah,
I don't want that. I want him to know that I'm always hungry. I'm always grateful, and ultimately just happy to be there.
Yeah. I think that's so important. It could be so easy sometimes in friendship to lose sight of why we're there and what we're there for, and forget that, okay, yeah, this is my homie, but this is still work, and I still need to be a professional, So even for those people who ain't working with a Tyler Perry, who are now where you started, who are rising with their friends, what advice do you have for them to make sure that the lines aren't blurred, and that they can still be friendly but still get work done and still do business?
For me, even when I was his stylist, and that's when our friendship really began to bud, because I was always around him and traveling with him for work and spending long hours, like lugging clothes. From the moment that I was in his presence to the time we were done, everything was, yes, sir, you good. Like we would have little moments just to kind of take the edge off, to make sure he was good and keep the energy fun, but to also keep it very professional. Like, all right, we got this, making him feel comfortable. And I feel like if you're working for somebody that you also consider a friend, your job is to make sure they're taken care of. Period. I don't care if you haven't gotten sleep. There were days where I didn't get any rest the night before because we were traveling and moving to another city. I would have to stay up late, getting clothes ready, and then beating him up so that I could be there when he was ready to get dressed. And you never saw that, the tiredness in me. You never saw that I may have been, just not feeling it that day. No attitude. I'm happy to be here. What do you need? Let's get it done. We can go and eat afterwards and be friends. But while we're working, you're my boss and I'm your employee, and that's it.
Let's even talk about this, and then we're going to close this chapter as a whole. You are, like you said earlier, you became a consultant producer on the show. You know, those moments, I'm sure, rooted just in genuine conversation that's brought it from friendship, you know, in those personal moments. So even in just having those organic, natural moments in friendship, it can like really create something that winds up becoming purposeful, becoming business, you know? So when it even comes to just being vulnerable, being transparent, you know, you see how that paid off for you, right? A lot of times, especially growing up Black, we're told to keep so much within, and like, you know, there's a lot of family secrets and stuff like that, you know. But again, in this case, talking, sharing your story has led to like you now being able to be a consultant producer, you know. So not even someone just in entertainment period, but just people in everyday life. How important is it to just have open, honest dialogue and conversation with your friends? One, knowing that y'all can impact each other, but two, knowing that there may be some synergy for y'all to do something purposeful together with something that y'all both may be dealing with, or that, you know, like where y'all can see, okay, you know what, taking what you've gone through, what I've gone through, there's something that can be birthed from this. What do we do with that?
Yeah, I think it's very important to have those transparent conversations with your friends, especially your core group that you really trust. You know, I'm not saying open up to anybody, you know, because everybody's not for you, but those people that you know have really like shown you, hey, I've got your best interest. Those are things you can talk about. And you just never know how, when you open up to someone, like you said, what it could turn into. But yeah, I think it's very important to have those conversations with friends. And then sometimes you just never know what people are going through. As well. Not even that it may even turn into something, but sometimes it'll give you a better understanding of your friend that they may have been holding in. And it will help you in turn to be a better friend, you know, and be what they need you to be in that time.
Yes. Well, I love that, again, we really got to talk about that. I think, again, there's been this narrative that, you know, friends and business can't coexist, you know, but you have successfully done it, you know, so I really wanted to have you really talk about that. And even one of the other things I love is just that your friends have also been key in your transitions, you know. So like when you were an artist, you talked about how you got into wardrobe because a friend was like, well, you know what you're doing, you know.
We got a position. You want to come work here?
Yeah, like that was just your friend who just saw a natural gift. And then when you promoted, you did replace yourself with another person, you know, another friend.
With my former assistant. And now she's running everything. So even for that, you know, I just applaud you, number one, because I think people like you keep the cycle running, you know, because y'all aren't afraid to, y'all not trying to hold on to everything for yourself, but you're not afraid to pass the torch and put other people on. I think that's super important, you know. I think it's very important to do that too, because like you said, people try to hold on to everything, afraid that they're going to lose something, when I believe that your gifts make room for you. And my biggest testimony, and I love this about my gifts, is that not only does it make room for me, but it makes room for other people to live out their dreams. And, that's more gratifying than anything, to see that now, like the people that used to be in my crew, now they're running the crew, you know, and to see how everything has changed, and they're doing an amazing job. Just my tailor is now our costume designer for Sistas.
Wow.
And then my old assistant costume designer is the lead costume for Fatima.
Wow.
So it's like circle moments.
That's so beautiful, you know. So I love that. And I love that you're you have so many testaments of genuine friendship and how it's been able to successfully work in business. So for people who have been taught that, who feel like, you know, you can't do business with friends, what are some tips that you have for them to successfully do friendship with business? Let's try it. I struggled through that. One more time. So for people who have struggled to successfully do business with friends, what are some tips that you have for them that will help them successfully navigate their relationship with respect and integrity?
You know, first let either friend know, hey, like I would love to work for you, if you're even interested in that, because sometimes they won't even know that you want to be on their team on a professional side. But if you are hiring someone, be very transparent about what you expect, so there's no gray areas, you know. Because a lot of times people are like, yeah, you my homie, come on, you can come, and then be mad when they're not doing their job, but you never told them what they're supposed to do, you know? So you can't
effectively communicate.
Yeah, effectively communicate, be very clear about expectations, and then also understand the roles, you know, be clear on the roles. And if you're going to work for a friend, you also have to be able to put your ego aside, you know, and treat them like you would treat any other boss.
Yeah.
But even when it comes to partnering together, again, communication is everything when it comes to partnering. And what else? Good attorneys, you know.
Yes.
Yeah, you know, that way it's like everything is cut and dry. There's no you have a middle person that can really help. Hey, this is what you said, this is what you said, this is what you agreed to. So there's no confusion.
And with that language, you say an attorney, that means there should be a contract in place. How important is that? I think some people are afraid to apply contracts, and the overall, the bigger message here is boundaries, I think. People are afraid to apply boundaries. They feel like it's offensive, or it's like, oh, I don't trust you. But it's like,
no, which is
boundaries can be helpful for both sides.
Ourselves. You're protected as well. It's not just about me. I feel like we're protecting each other at this point.
Yeah. Definitely. I love that. And, yeah, you have to. And then I think to really seal the deal here, you know, with this section, I think it's also been amazing to see genuine friendship in your characters, you know, on and off screen. So what has that even been like? Because people see, you know, love interest on TV, they always think like, oh, well, that's gonna lead to something more off screen or something sometimes. But to see that you actually have a genuine good relationship with him and his wife, and people love and support y'all on screen, they also support the friendship off screen. And y'all just have a thing.
Well, some people do.
Yeah. What has that been like?
It's been amazing. DeVal is one of my best friends. Kadeen is just like the most amazing woman. I tell DeVal all the time, you are so lucky. Like, he had a cool ass wife. Like, she is amazing. Just a dope mom, just human being all together. She and I and a couple other girls are accountability partners with our workouts and trying to lose weight together. She's just a bomb person, and I'm grateful that even she has allowed me to be friends with DeVal, because, you know, some women aren't as confident or secure to allow that. And I remember the first time we had like a kissing scene in season 2, I was so nervous to kiss him because I'm like, this is a married man. I'm like, oh my God. And it was my first kissing scene, and it was hard for me to put aside his real life, you know what I'm saying? Because I had so much respect for his family and acting. And she was like, girl, you better kiss that man.
I love that.
So it helped me to like let my guard down. But, you know, like, I still carry our friendship with so much respect for her. You know, I keep her at the forefront of everything, you know, so like it's never any like question like what's going on. You know, like I always make sure that I honor her. And and I think that's very important, you know what I'm saying, for anyone who's friends with someone who's married or in a relationship. A lot of people feel like you can't have those type of friendships, but I feel like it's how you are respectful and how you carry it and how you handle it. That it's okay, because everybody's like that. And there are people that have an issue with it, but I feel like the people who have an issue with it don't understand our dynamic and have their own insecurities that they're trying to put on us. And we're like, okay, girl.
No, it's all good. And I love that for y'all. You know, and I love that y'all do have a genuine friendship that is reflected off camera. You know,
those are my people. Like, y'all can't say nothing about them. None of them. Nobody in that family or her family or his famay.
Fatima gonna show up in real life.
Period.
Well, her piece too, so be careful. I love it. You know, well, honestly, we just really wanted to just celebrate you, one, and all of your advancement during the pandemic. Like, again, you come a long way in just a couple of years, you know, which has been amazing. And then again, you've been able to do it with family at a place that you were already at for 10 years before you even stepped foot in front of the camera, you know?
Listen, that is the most beautiful thing too, is like everybody that's, I'm another like little beacon of hope for the people that are dreamers that are still in the crew. They're like, if you can do it, I can do it too. Whatever it is. You know, not everybody wants to act. They may want to be producers. I know there's writers in the crew, cameraman, directors, you know, it's so many different dreams that are sprinkled throughout our crew. I'm just happy that I can be a little hope for people to really step out on faith and go after what they want.
Definitely. So before we wrap, I want to transition a little bit into, you, Crystal Hayslett, the social media maven who has learned to do cooking with Chris and, the day to life, workouts, getting dressed, everything,
Yes.
Again, we've talked about this a few times in this interview. Social media is a whole other job nowadays, and you have successfully learned how to brand yourself and create content, and a lot of the content people don't know that you produce and do on your own,
Yeah.
How did you learn to really take the time to figure out how to shoot and edit your own content for the sake of creating, social content during the pandemic when a lot of us didn't have nothing but time to be in the house and, stuck to ourselves?
Yeah. I've always edited my own videos, except for anything that I've had professionally filmed, then I'll allow the shooter to edit those. But I'm very hands-on in the editing. I create my shot list. I say, I want this, I want to switch this. I'm very hands-on with it anyway. But I think it started with my YouTube videos when I would do hair and just playing with the iMovie on Apple products. I used that and learned how to work that. And now I can pretty much work any little software and I can spice and cut, hit the beat, but it took a while to learn. But once you got the hang of it, people are like, wait, you do all that yourself? I'm like, yeah.
Yeah. Without a problem.
I love it though. It's therapeutic for me.
Yeah. And then, with Sistas, it's been such a success at showing Black sisterhood. Showing Black women united. Also, showing some of the things that they deal with, some of the challenges they deal with, with this with each other or with their, partners and everything.
Yeah.
What has it been like for you to be on a show and celebrate sisterhood in such a way, especially on International Women's Day? How important is it for you to be a part of that, something that pushes the narrative of Black women, number one, and then knowing that so many women turn to you all and they get so invested because they resonate so much with characters that, and again, you as a consultant producer, you have a lot to do with also some of the storylines. So knowing that they resonate, what has that been like for you as a woman to be a part of this?
It's been amazing. Week after week, so many women resonate with each of us. There's, even myself, I see myself in each of the women. I'm like, yep, I've been her before. I've definitely done that, or I'm there right now.
Yeah.
To see that and to know that we're bringing women together, sister circles together to have conversations. And it's just beautiful to see that even men, I just did a meet and greet in Baltimore last weekend. And a man came up to me and he was like, I just want to let you know that your show has changed my conversation with my mother and my sister. He said it went from just hi and bye to now Wednesdays we actually sit and talk. He said because of your show.
Wow.
Wow. Those little things right there are what makes it all worth it.
Yeah. Well, I'm so glad you get to be a part of such a movement, and I'm looking forward to seeing what Fatima has to offer when that comes out. What can fans expect?
Fans can expect what they get on Sistas from Fatima and Zach. They can expect that times just. I don't even want to get it's just gonna be crazy. It's gonna be crazy. We started doing auditions and stuff last year, and so many of my actor friends were hitting me up. They're like, "We just saw it on Actors Access or the breakdowns. We're so excited!" And I'm like, "Oh my goodness!" So to see so many people really excited and excited to even read for different characters on our show, it's like, what?
Yeah,
it's crazy.
That's a blessing.
Yeah.
Any other projects that you're working on that you want people to know about, or even what does the future look like for you?
I am right now. I'm not working on any other projects, but still actively auditioning. Excited about the future. I do want to do film, so I'm really excited about really tapping into that world. Would love to get into voiceovers. Yeah, big dream of mine is to do a Disney musical. I sing too.
Yes. Come on.
Yes. Yeah.
The way I say you and God are just like God and Cicely Tyson. Y'all have that same connection because the way he done looked out for you, I'm just like, I know anything you put your mind to, you're gonna do, you're gonna accomplish. So I look forward to watching the Disney movie that you're a part of. And like, I knew her way back when.
When she said she was gonna do that.
She did.
It's funny, people say that now. They're like, I remember you always want to do this. I'm like, yep.
Yep.
So
it happens. So we're glad you're doing it. Yeah. We love it. The fans love it. Again, you're always trending. So clearly you're doing something right, So yes.
Thank you.
No problem. But thank you for just sharing your story. Thank you for just highlighting the significance of positively doing business with friends. And I'm so grateful that you have been an example of that. Again, I'm a personal benefit of that. And I love just your heart, genuinely for people and for others, And so I know that because of that, like this is just the beginning. Like this is literally the beginning for you. So I'm excited to see where, your career goes from here for sure.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I another person at the studio whom I look up to is my big brother Andy. He's one of the VPs at the studio, and he came up to me when I was first started costume designing.
Yeah.
And he went to Bible study one night, and he was like, I don't know why you were in my spirit at Bible study. He said, but God told me to tell you that your living is in your giving. And that always stayed with me. So I always give, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I try to give with a free heart, not trying to control my giving. I just give whatever God, it could be an Uber driver,
Yeah.
I may be letting, I'll just give him a $40 tip,
Yeah.
It just depends. Like, I'll just feel it, and I'll just like, God, whatever you move me to do, I'm just going to do it.
Yeah.
And that's something that's always stuck with me. And I truly believe that.
Yeah. I love it. And again, we've seen it work. Like it makes sense as to why you've been blessed the way you've been blessed. And again, during the pandemic, like what a lot of people, this wasn't the happiest time or the easiest time for them. It's when your whole career was, really shifted into a different gear, in such a beautiful and amazing way, So yeah, it's been great to witness it. I'm excited to share your interview with our audience and for them to be inspired by your story as well. And I'm just looking forward to seeing what's next for you. I'm looking forward to seeing Fatima and then the movies and everything else that's going to come with it.
All of that, because we're on a roll. Let's do. I'm excited about life and just, just being better every day.
Definitely. You've been an example of hope, like you said, for those people who are seeing where you from. But then you've also just been like a testament of like good-hearted, integral people, who know how to be in the industry but not of the industry. And I think that's been a beautiful thing for you. It's just like you're not here for the foolishness. You're genuine and you genuinely love what you do and you take it seriously. This isn't just a get rich quick scheme for you. Like this is like, no, this is my heart and my gift and my talent. So it's great to see you rewarded diligently, for the work you put in.
Thank you, friend.
No problem, my friend. I love you and I'm super grateful to have you. Yes, and the Entourage appreciates you for kicking it with us.
Oh, well, thanks for having me.